Hi, this is Subramaniam Shankaran from IEEE. Record of processing activities is one of the most important evidences or artifact that is required for the GDPR. GDPR or DPDP India or PDPL, okay, or PDPA, okay, for any of the laws pertaining to the data protection, the organization needs to maintain what is actually called as a record of processing activities. Now, in this Excel sheet, we are going to have a look at what all the importance are, what all the bare minimum fields that you need to have for record of processing activities, otherwise called as a ROPA. Now, the ROPA has got something, okay, the activities are departments, etc. But before all, okay, you need to identify the most important people who will be working as a part of the organization. If you look at this particular field, whether it's be it a controller or processor. Now, who is a controller? Controller is an organization that collects the data from the data subject directly. Processor is an organization that collects the data from the controller. Now, you might have a sub-processor who collect the data in turn from the processor, sub-processor, etc. Now, you need to have the name and the contact details of the organization. Okay, could be the CEO. Next is data protection officer, name, address, email, and telephone. Usually, the organization does not publish the data protection officer's unique email ID. It will be TPO at the organization.com, something like that. Okay, if there is a representative, okay, if applicable. If not, the TPO is actually enough. Registration with the TPO. When was this ROPA actually filled up and you have registered with the TPO? Okay, that needs to be filled in here. Okay, now business function, identify the HR or marketing or the particular department within the organization that collects the data. What is the purpose of the processing? Categories of the data subject. Okay, it could be students, it could be patients, it could be customers, blah blah blah. Okay, for example, and college might have students as the data subject, and hospital might have the patients as a data subject. But these are all the external. The hospital might also have the employees, contractors, vendors, all of them as a data subject. Okay, so the employees will remain the same. Contractors, consultants they may or they may not work with the organization, but the customers, okay, customers for the e-commerce organization, or it's going to be let's say the patients of the hospital. Then you have categories of the personal data. Okay, it could be first name, last name, mobile number, personal email ID, etc. But it might also be a patient record, patient reference number, their ailment details, etc. Categories of the recipient who are going to receive this personal data from you. They become the categories of the recipient. Okay, it could be a pharmacist who's going to receive this data, or with a telco, then you're going to print this bill, and and the courier company will receive this printed bill to deliver it to the customer. So the data subject could be me, and the telco which is collecting the data could be the controller, and is the controller, and the company which is printing the bill could be a processor, and the company which is delivering the bill to the customer's house is going to become a sub processor. Then you have the safeguards for the transfer to a third country. Next is actually the name of the country to which you're actually going to transfer the data. Okay, for the third country, according to the GDPR, you don't have, it falls under the adequacy condition. But if it's not a third country, then you need to take care of the safeguard. And safeguards that for the transfer of the personal data to the other countries. Okay, you need to specifically mention it here. Time limits for the erasure. Okay, what is the data retention? So the right to erase is a clause which depends upon the data subject to actually delete that particular data or request to delete the data based on a SAR, SAR, or not an SAR. It's actually a request. Okay, access request is what SAR is. But otherwise, data retention is actually applicable here. Okay. Now, the general description of technical and organization measures, it deals with your entity and access management, network security, okay, encryption, all these things comes in here. Lawful basis for processing the personal data. You are in hospital and you have a lawful basis to process the personal data of the patients. Okay, there should be a relevant lawful basis for the organization to process the data. Telco also process the personal data to send them an e-bill, to send them an SMS about the bill, okay, to send a hard copy of the bill if you actually opt to choose one. Okay, conditions for special category processing. There's a list of special category processing, rights from the bias towards the the political party, the religious beliefs, etc. And procedure for handling the access request. Okay, so SAR. Okay, it could be based on service management also. Now, have you done a data protection impact analysis? We'll have a separate video on DPIA, how you are actually going to do it, and what is the status of it, And has there been authorization? Okay, authorization consultation required for the DPO to publish the list, and what is the result of the DPIA? All these things you will actually capture it here. DPIA will have a separate video because we need a deep dive into what DPIA actually is. Notification of the personal data breaches. There's actually a form. One of the excellent forms that is actually given to you by ICO. I'll be giving you that link on the description. A link to records of the personal data breaches, if any. Okay, and finally, the measure of the effectiveness. Okay, of the control that you have actually implemented. If the control is able to stop an attack, okay, round the clock, okay, then it's very effective. Once a year is okay, twice a year, okay, and then it's like once a year, then it's the effectiveness is moderate. Then 2 or 3 times, then you are going to categorize that as a low. Okay, so it all depends upon your judgment. Okay, but ideally, we need an environment where we don't have any personal data breaches at all. Now, I'll also upload this form onto my drive. I'll give you the access. Mention that on the. I'll give you the link on the description. You can keep it handy and make use of it. Okay, thank you very much.